Palos de la Frontera is a town and municipality located in the southwestern Spanish province of Huelva, in the autonomous community of Andalusia. It is situated some 13 kilometers from the provincial capital, Huelva. According to the 2015 census, the city had a population of 10,365. It is most famous for being the place from which Columbus set sail in 1492, eventually reaching America. History. The official date of foundation for Palos is 1322, when the town was granted to Alonso Caro and Caro's wife Berenguela Gomez by Alfonso XI of Castile. Although the town may have been occupied during earlier centuries by Paleolithic, Tartessian, Roman, Visigothic, and Muslim inhabitants, Palos' name is derived from the Latin word palus, a reference to the Marmena. It acquired its surname as Palos de la Frontera in May 1642. At the time of its establishment as a town by Alfonso XI, Palos was part of the Almohad kingdom of Nibla, and was a small nucleus whose population subsisted on fishing and took advantage of the area's geographic protection against pirates and storms. Alvar Perez de Guzman is considered the city's real founder. He was only 14 when Juan I of Castile granted him the towns of Palos and Villalba del Alca in 1379 to make up for the fact that Perez de Guzman was forced to give up Huelva and Gibraleon, which had become part of the county of Medinaceli. Alvar Perez de Guzman received from Juan I the right to tax the first 50 families who settled at Palos, and he began utilizing the lands around Palos for the cultivation of olive trees and production of olive oil. After the death of Alvar Perez de Guzman, his widow, Elvira de Ayala, daughter of the Chancellor of Castile, continued her husband's work until her death in 1434. Palos' golden age is considered to have occurred in the 15th century, when it increased its population to 2,500 inhabitants and its economy, based on fishing and seafaring expeditions to Guinea, flourished. Palos took advantage of the War of the Castilian Succession, which became a war between Castile and Portugal, to challenge Portuguese domination of the Atlantic trade. Castilian naval forces always included natives of Palos, who were considered navigational experts. Because only the men of Palos know the ancient Sea of Guinea, and were used to fighting the Portuguese from the outset of the war, and to snatch from them the slaves acquired in exchange for valuable goods. Nevertheless, the war ended in defeat for the Castilian forces, and Ferdinand and Isabella, in the Treaty of Alcacovas, gave up all rights to Atlantic and African lands and seas, with the exception of the Canary Islands, which remained Castilian. Many natives of Palos nevertheless violated the agreement and encroached upon Portuguese sea routes in the Atlantic. On August 3, 1492, the Pinta, Nina, and Santa Maria sailed from Palos. On board were Christopher Columbus and the Pinzon brothers, who were natives of Palos. Palos is also the site of the Rabida Monastery, where Columbus consulted with the Franciscans about his plans for organizing an expedition of discovery. The three ships landed in America on October 12, 1492. The Santa Maria foundered in American waters, but the other two ships returned to Palos on March 15, 1493. Palos would play a pivotal role in the settlement and Christianization of the New World in succeeding centuries. La Rabida would play a central in the Christian evangelization of the Americas. As La Rabida was a Franciscan monastery, that order would play a dominant role in this Christianization. population, and some of the first missionaries were natives of Palos, including Juan Izquierdo, Juan de Palos, Juan Cerrado, Pedro Salvador, Alonso V.E.Acute, Elized de Guevara, Joan Quintero, Thomas de Narvaez, and Francisco Camacho. With the establishment of the Casa de Contratación at Seville in 1503, Palos suffered a decline. Natives of Palos emigrated to America at Seville, and Palos soon had few sailing vessels of its own. By the 18th century, the town had only about 125 inhabitants. However, during the same century, Catalan investors established a viticultural industry centered at Palos, and the population slowly reached its pre-1492 levels. Palos also transformed itself into a center of the shrimp industries, and also became a center for the cultivation of the frazón de Palos, which are now exported to the European Union. On June 22, 1926, the first hydroplane to cross the Atlantic, the Plus Ultra flying boat, took off from Palos. The journey, done in 6 stages, ended at Buenos Aires, Argentina. Alfonso XIII of Spain gave the Plus Ultra to the Argentine Navy, in which it served as a postal service airplane. The Argentines donated to Spain a statue of Icarus, which is situated at La Rabada. Alfonso XIII also granted to Palos the status as a city during this time. John Paul II visited Palos on June 14, 1993, the only time a pope has visited the city. John Paul symbolically crowned the Palos patron saint, the Virgin of Miracles. There is a station in the Madrid metro named after this town. In 1850, the small town of Trenton, Illinois, located southwest of Chicago, changed its name to Palos. This recommendation was made by M.S. Powell, the local postmaster, whose ancestor Pedro Alonso Nino sailed with Christopher Columbus from Palos de la Frontera. When it incorporated as a village in 1914, Palos officially became Palos Park. The neighboring communities of Palos Hills and Palos Heights incorporated at later points. All 3 municipalities lie within Palos Township. Twin cities: Cali, Colombia; Latina, Italy; Lagos, Portugal.